Hey, good morning, everybody. Give me 1 minute. I'm just gonna, I'll get us started in 1 minute. I got it on my phone. Good morning, everybody. I'm Devin Murphy, Chair of the Technical Committee. Thank you all for joining us this Friday morning. It's October 3rd at 10:03. We'll get this meeting started with roll call.
El Cerrito,
Present.
Hercules, Lafayette, Larkspur,
Here.
Pinole,
Here.
Pleasant Hill,
Here.
Richmond. Thank you. Vallejo. Quorum established.
Thank you. Next, well, just as a reminder, if folks have questions about the agendas or want to make public comment, all of the information is provided on the agenda for today, including remote public meeting participation. The next item on the agenda is board announcements. Are there any announcements from board members in the San Rafael office?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Thank you. Do we have any announcements here? Not seeing any board announcements from Concord. That'll bring us to our next item, which is public open time for members of the public who would like to make public comment.
There's someone online, Chair. Ken Strong.
Okay, we'll take the online public comments first.
Hi, this is Ken Strong. Last weekend, I sent an email to the board clerk trying to find out some things about public comment process because I couldn't find it on the website. And I asked 3 questions specifically, all relating to agendized items, either at committee meetings or at the full board meeting. I asked, first of all, how long before a scheduled meeting of the board or a committee must a comment or letter be submitted to MCE to be distributed by MCE to board members and interested parties in advance of the meeting? My second question had to do with public comment letters addressing an agenda item and whether or not they were posted on the MCE website before a meeting so that they could be considered by members of the public not on the interested parties list. And then I also asked what for public comment letters or agenda or emails not tied to an item on a board agenda, what's the process for distributing those comments to board members or making them available to the public? I'd assumed that these were standard procedures for MCE, and therefore I get a pretty quick response. As you know, you've generally got a week from when an agenda comes out to get a comment before the board, before the meeting. I did get an email back from Jessica on Tuesday saying that she would look into it, but I haven't heard a response. So I just wanted to say that I think that the MC should definitely be posting on its website clear rules as to when in advance of a meeting comments needed to be received in order to be distributed in advance of the meeting to board members and interested parties. And I also think that public comments and to matters should be posted on the website so that people not on those email distribution lists can have a chance to see those comments and determine whether or not they want to make comments of their own or otherwise participate in the board's meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk, do we have any more public comments from online?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Okay, are there any in-person public comments from San Rafael?
There is not.
Okay, and not seeing any here in Concord. We'll have staff get back to Mr. Strong as I think is already happening. So we'll move on to the next item, which is item number 4, a report from our Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you so much. Just a couple of updates that are relevant to TechCom, and it's exciting that today we have two PPAs that we are going to be able to talk through. I wanted to let folks know that this week a new procurement order has been proposed by the California Public Utilities Commission. This is going to require a new round of procurement for all load-serving entities within a narrow period of time. And that could lead to price increases. As you all know well, as members of TechCom, we talk a lot about price volatility. And so I wanted to just say a little bit about some of the energy volatility that we've covered in the past and what the plans are over the next few weeks to talk more about the energy volatility that we've seen in the market. As a reminder, last fall, when we presented our audited results for the year, we saw volatility that actually came out to benefit MCE. We saw a swing of about $200 million better results than were being expected. As you may recall from our board meeting 2 weeks ago, we saw the opposite this year, where we had a swing in the opposite direction, where costs ended up being higher than anticipated. This is very common in the energy market, and because of this, we spend a lot of time talking about volatility. Last year at our board retreat, we spent a lot of time talking about volatility in the energy supply market through a presentation by called Navigating Industry Challenges. We also did a mid-year pro forma update, which was looking at the energy costs going forward last fall, projecting the increases that we did end up seeing at the end of the fiscal year. We specifically talked about the VAMO price changes that we were expecting, a $15 million hit to the budget. That was last fall. And we're about to have another pro forma update. So I just wanted to make sure TechCom members are aware. If you're not on XCOM, you're welcome to attend. It's going to be next Monday at our regular XCOM meeting, and it'll be our usual annual pro forma update where we'll really dive into power supply costs. So yeah, I just wanted to give that overview as we jump into the items today. Very exciting that we have two projects on tap to consider approving. Our staff has worked very hard to identify these projects and get them teed up, so we're really excited about it. And so that's it for my report. I just wanted to turn to our general counsel, as she may have a comment on the question we just got from the public.
Yeah, thank you. Chair, I just wanted to clear up to make sure that it was noted that, we take public comment very serious here at MCE and want to make sure that it gets distributed appropriately to the committee and board members. And so we had received the response and will be following up. We have had many other items before staff members this week that we've been working on, but the agenda does clearly identify where public comments can be made, and that we have all of our comments and materials for the board for inspection at our offices too, so the public are able to view it there.
Thank you very much for that report. Are there any questions from board members about the Chief Executive Officer's report? We'll start with Summerfell.
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Okay, any questions here in Concord? There's no questions here in Concord. And so we'll thank you for your report. That'll bring us to our next item, which is our consent calendar. We have one item on the consent calendar, and that is the C1 approval of September 5th meeting minutes. If there are no questions or comments about them, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the consent calendar items C.1 and C.2.
All right, there's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Fantastic. All right, then we'll call the roll.
Al Cerrito,
Yes.
Larkspur,
Yes.
Pinal,
Yes.
Pleasant Hill,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is item number 6, which is our energy storage service agreement. We'll bring it to staff for the report.
Thank you. There were presenter introduction slides. Did those already show? Awesome. Okay. Well, to introduce myself, I wasn't sure where this was going in the slide deck, but my name is Steven Mariani, Senior Power Procurement Manager. As you can see up here on the slide, I have 9 years of experience in the energy industry, including energy consulting, power supply management, and power procurement. I've received my bachelor's in economics from Tufts University and currently an MBA candidate at the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley in the part-time program. My past experience includes 4 years of power supply management and power procurement for public power entities in California, as well as regulating utility power procurement and PPA negotiations for the state of Hawaii for 3 years, and have been with MCE for the past 2 years. So excited to present this negotiated deal with you today for your approval. And this is going to be an overview of the Rockasecca Battery Energy Storage System project and proposed contract, followed by our recommendation for your committee. So we can go to the next slide, please. So as an overview of today's presentation, we'll provide you a background on MCE's power procurement strategy. Then we'll provide an overview of the Rockasecca project and our proposed contract. And we'll conclude with a recommendation to this committee and open it up to questions and discussion. Next slide, please. So MCE's procurement goals include adding projects to our power portfolio that will increase alignment of our hourly load or demand and our power supply profile. Secondly, we want to increase our supply of renewable energy from product content category 1 RPS eligible projects, which are renewable energy generating projects located in California and directly serving California customers. Third, we have adding resource adequacy, or RA, to our portfolio. And lastly, to fulfill our procurement mandates under the midterm reliability compliance obligations, as directed by the California Public Utilities Commission. Rockasecca, as a battery storage project, will contribute to all but one of these goals. Since it's a standalone battery, it does not generate any renewable energy. However, it does allow the grid to absorb solar energy in the middle of the day that may otherwise be curtailed, and then discharge that energy in the evening hours when the solar is no longer generating. Standalone storage allows MCE to shape our supply portfolio to better match our load profile, offers MCE a valuable RA benefit, and enables us to capture revenues from the energy market during the most valuable hours of the day. Next slide, please. So the Rockasecca project was offered to MCE bilaterally from Ion Renewables. The project is a standalone lithium-ion battery that will use a lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, technology. LFP does not rely on cobalt. It's more durable to heat and high voltages, and it degrades slower. The only con to this technology, as opposed to nickel cobalt, is that it has a larger footprint for its capacity. The project is located in Boulder City, Nevada, but is directly interconnected into the California ISO grid. I'll show a map of where it's located on the next slide. But this project will offer 126.59 megawatts of battery capacity for a 4-hour duration. And the reason for that very specific quantity is because this is the exact amount that the California grid operator allocated to the project for a transmission deliverability in its interconnection application. What we consider fully deliverable is a really important point for MCE because that means we can claim all of the resource adequacy from this project. Finally, this project is being developed by Ion Renewables. Ion has approximately 6 gigawatts of projects in their portfolio and is the exclusive developer and manager of the parent company Eolus Wind. They're a Swedish company, and they have an additional 26.2 gigawatts of renewable projects in their portfolio. While MCE does not have any existing contracts with Ion, MCE staff found Ion to be trustworthy and a transparent counterparty to work with. And in the context, this was especially important in the context of a lot of uncertainty this year around tariffs and tax credit uncertainty. Next slide, please. So this contract is, in the parlance of our industry, a full toll agreement, which means MCE gets to claim the benefits from multiple products that this project offers. So these products include using the battery to optimize the revenues for the energy when it's scheduled into the energy markets. It allows us to claim the capacity for resource adequacy, and as I mentioned, it is eligible for the midterm reliability compliance obligations that MCE has. And then MCE can also benefit from bidding the products into the ancillary services markets, and those pay revenues for being available for things like energy reserves, meeting fluctuations in supply and demand, and keeping balance in the frequency and the voltage of the grid. The project will provide MCE these benefits for a 15-year contract term and will begin operating in Q1 of 2027. And the construction start on this project is set to start imminently. Lastly, the contract does not require MCE to post any collateral or credit obligations. As you can see on the map, the project is located just outside of the Las Vegas Load Center. This is advantageous to MCE for two reasons. One, it's close to load, and two, it's close to a high penetration of solar generation located in Nevada. So this means that the battery can charge from nearby solar, which one will reduce curtailments in the region, but also it'll reduce the cost of the energy that we have to pay for to charge the battery. And then as it's close to load, it can discharge at a premium since given its proximity to the Las Vegas Load Center. Next slide, please. So this is a load supply balance for MCE, which is projected for our future portfolio. I'll go over the legend here. So in the orange line at the top, that is our load curve. Then the purple line sort of in the center is our current portfolio of resources. The future portfolio is basically the summation of the purple line and the dark green line. The dark green line represents 3 proposed projects. So for illustrative purposes, we combined, and confidentiality purposes, I should also mention, we combined the aggregate supply impacts from the Rocaseca battery project, the Buena Vista wind project, which my colleague Paul will be presenting next, and the Mulqueeny wind project that was presented to your committee last month and approved. So that is the overall shape of our supply if these 2 contracts are added into our portfolio. And the key takeaways here are that, one, we are moving closer to our load curve, as you can see, but even more so, we're moving closer to our load in the most valuable hours. So that's that second peak that you see, the highest peak on the graph. Those are the peak evening hours when energy revenues are at their highest. And so that is bringing the most value to MCE's portfolio. Next slide, please. So we conducted a successful negotiation with ION in spite of a confluence of external events transpiring throughout the process, from trade wars causing tariff uncertainty and the passage of a congressional bill that raised concern about investment tax credit uncertainty. Some of the notable contract provisions that are favorable for MCE include a set of financial incentives that will ensure the counterparty develops and operates the project in a way that will motivate timely completion of the project and guarantees MCE will receive the products that it's paying for. Furthermore, ION has made commitments to use union labor, pay prevailing wages in construction and development, and ensures an ethical supply chain restricting against the use of forced labor in equipment procurement. ION posted significant security deposits to assure commitment to the milestones and performance guarantees under this contract. And MCE also negotiated a community benefits contribution from ION to MCE in the amount of $30,000, which will be allocated to the Community Benefits Fund, and your board will have discretion over how these funds are spent, and those will be approved separately. But this is in addition to $100,000 that is also being contributed to the host community in Nevada, and these funds have already been earmarked through a separate agreement for local clean energy projects. Lastly, upon contract start, the price will be fixed with no escalation for the term of the contract, providing cost certainty for MCE and its long-term power portfolio. These provisions, all in unison, are key instruments through which MCE manages its risks in its long-term PPAs, and it's how we build our robust long-term power portfolio. Next slide, please. And so with that, the recommendation today to your committee is to approve the Energy Storage Services Agreement between MCE and Rocaseca, LLC. We recommend this approval due to the benefits the project would provide to MCE, including meeting its compliance obligations, due to the maturity of the project, and finally due to the benefits that would come from locking in a fixed price contract that reduces MCE's risk and exposure to markets for wholesale power during peak hours and for the markets for resource adequacy. Thank you. That concludes my presentation, but we are happy to take any questions from the committee.
Sure.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yes, of course, Vicken.
I just want to add that the ad hoc contract committee meeting met on Monday, and Director Meadows and Director Kohler were present, and Director Meadows is online, and he can provide input as the rep for the committee.
Fantastic. Thank you. Director Meadows, did you want to add anything to the staff report or a report from the committee meeting?
Director Kohler and I both supported moving forward with this project.
Great. Thank you. In that case, we'll go to board members for any questions that folks have. We'll start with Sam Rafael.
Director Andre has her hand raised, and then Cepeda.
Yep. Director Andre?
Great. Hi, Stephen. Thank you for the presentation. Very informative. Can you just give us a sense for the 500 megawatt hours? Like how many homes does that power and for how long?
Can you provide a reference, the 500 megawatt hours, which slide was that on? So we can just go back and look at it?
I don't remember. I mean, if someone can put this, let's see.
I think so. For the purposes of this contract, this project does not generate any energy. If you're referring to the size of
Yeah, the size. Yeah, there you
battery.
go. Right there.
So I think in general, we don't think about batteries as serving load because they're not generating energy. They're shifting energy into the later part of it. I might defer to the slide or the presentation on the Buena Vista Wind project, which might be able to be put in terms of number of homes for electricity generated. But generally speaking, I believe our average is between 400 and 500 kilowatt hours per month. That is the MCE residential average. So why don't we take that back and be able to put some better numbers behind it, if that's okay with you, Director Andre?
Great. That would be great. Thank you.
All right. Director Andre, do you have any other questions? Director Andre?
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Director Cepeda, did you have a question or a few?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you for the presentation. Just a couple of questions in regards to the location. I'm newish to the group here, so forgive me if you already have a policy, but do we have any policies or how do we decide on Nevada versus California? And is that something that we take into consideration as we're...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Director.
No, go ahead.
So in our procurement processes, we generally have preferences for first projects that are located in our service territory, then more generally located in California. But definitely the key input to and driver of positive economics for these projects are where the projects are located. It particularly is helpful if the projects are located in the CAISO balancing authority. So that's definitely the key one feature of this project. Although it's located in the state of Nevada, it has a direct interconnection into the California grid. So that means we don't have to pay additional prices to import the energy into California or consider other things like congestion from bringing a project in from another balancing authority or another grid, so to speak. So, generally we're looking for projects in our service territory as they'll promote local jobs, and the next project that's going to be presented to you, the Buena Vista Wind project, is located in our service territory. But the other key driver is definitely the economics. So being it located interconnected directly into the California grid is very important for us.
Thank you for that answer. Thank you. And the part two of the same question here, and why I was thinking of this question is just because of the federal politics right now, and they're not very keen to green energy. And I feel like in California, we have a little more protection of that bubble. And I want to make sure that as we're investing and we're putting this out there, that all of a sudden doesn't get snatched because it's outside of area that we are more likely to have control over. So that would just be something that maybe in the future, trying to think, and hopefully everything is great and we don't have to think about it in the future, but just in case, because it's a huge investment and it's a great opportunity, we want to make sure that we keep it. My other question is in regards to secure site. How, because we're going to be hoping that this area is going to then bring in 500 kilowatts of relief or whatever the power is going to be. How secure are the locations that nobody can just go in and all of a sudden knock them out and we don't have the power that we're trying to get?
So generally speaking, I would say with these sophisticated developers, they're definitely using the best practices for security on the site. I can't speak to specific parameters that this project is using, but I think generally those are risks that come up and get discussed as we analyze projects. So I don't have a specific answer for you on that question, but I can mention that it did not come up throughout the course of our negotiations, so I can certainly follow up with more information on this project.
Thank you. And again, just want to just protect our assets to make sure that can somebody just jump over the fence and create havoc, or are we, because it's now going to be providing power to a lot of our residents, we want to make sure that it's just protected there. So thank you. No other questions.
Thank you, Director Cepeda. I see Vidi is with your hand up. Did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, thank you, Director Murphy. I just wanted to add that we're not the owner and the operator of the project, but what we do is that in our contract, we have, performance assurances that we put in. So in your example, if something were to happen to the plant and we now cannot, it's not available to operate, then we can collect damages from the counterparty, and we can also potentially terminate the contract eventually if needed, if it continues for a very long period of time. So I think we try to protect ourselves as much as we can through the contract, but since we're not the owner and the operator, that's to the extent we look at these things.
And thank you for providing that clarity, additional clarity for that answer. Director Cepeda, did you have any other questions?
No, that's it for now. Thank you.
Of course. Director Quinto, I see your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm looking at the terms and conditions, and just wanted to say, yeah, with this presentation, it's great to see that there is a project labor agreement, which includes prevailing wage requirement. And I think that is a great idea. We have a shortage of workers right now, and because of what's happening in the federal government, we'll have more labor shortages. And I wanted to also point out the direct community benefits between 30,000 to MCE and 100,000 to the host. I'm hoping with the community benefits that that we can, and the host community can, look at Indian reservations and places where we can add people to the working force. So hopefully this direct benefit contribution will support training of our next generation of labor. So again, very much appreciate that. And it's good to see MCE very active when it comes to great projects like this, and to also include community benefits on everything. I'm reminded, and I tell folks this time and time again, when I spoke to Senator Caballero, she said she didn't like these projects, and she didn't like these projects because there were no community benefits in her area. So it's good to see the change with and MCE taking the lead on this, and seeing most CCAs participating on direct community benefits, because that is a game changer that will help regions, especially in Nevada and California, in building a bench of for the next generation of labor. So thank you for that.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments from board members? I only can see 3 there, so I'm not sure if there's any other comments or questions.
Yeah, there's Director Palmares has his hand raised. Thank you.
Fantastic. Hi, Director. Sorry about that.
Not a problem. Thank you. So a couple of questions, and I apologize I came in late, so I may have missed this, but uh, if we do approve this past this point, will there be still a need for additional storage? And how do you
But-
quantify that?
Yes, we're definitely continuing to do our analysis for our needs for standalone storage, but do not think this will fill all of our needs for standalone storage. As CEO Don just mentioned, there are additional procurement mandates coming out for capacity, and currently, given the definitely strong push for batteries available in the market, this also might drive additional procurement for standalone batteries for MCE.
Okay. And then considering, what's within our grid right now, I mean, and that we're looking into a project that is in Boulder City, Nevada, would you say within the Bay Area and maybe even California at large, are storage projects like these, are they becoming farther and fewer between?
I would say, generally speaking, the market for standalone batteries is still pretty healthy, and there are a variety of locations we can choose. Generally, we look at these projects on an individual basis and try and find the ones with the best economics for MCE, which is why we went with this particular project, along with the fact that the online date for this project would satisfy the compliance obligations that we had for new procurement. But looking into the future, I don't think we're going to be necessarily constrained around locations, but we'll continue to look on an individual basis at these project economics, make sure they're good fits for MC's portfolio.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions from directors in Summerfell?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
All right, I'm checking on Director Meadows again, just in case you have any other additional comments or questions. And here we don't have any additional comments or questions that have been asked. So in that case, I'll ask the clerk if there's any public comments on this item.
I see a member of the public, Dan Sajidin, has his hand raised online.
Okay, we'll take that public comment.
Hello, this is Dan Sagadin. Thank you very much. We like this project. Obviously helps with the 24/7 issue, the slice of day issue, as the CPUC is calling it, and therefore reduces our exposure to energy market risk. So nice job. I did have one question, appreciate a little bit of light on. Is most of the economic value of this project, coming from the RA? Or the energy arbitrage or ancillary services, kind of all of those were mentioned. Just curious to kind of what percent of the value is coming from where, or if there's even other revenue streams. But again, I would like the project. Thank you very much.
So
Thank you for your comment. Yes, Stephen, did you want to touch on that point or?
yeah, I was going to say it is confidential to talk about the specific valuation of the project. It is economic for MC, but sorry for cutting you off.
No worries. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to touch on that. Clerk, are there any other comments or questions? Excuse me, public comments?
I see no raised hands, Chair, but our general counsel has a comment here. Catalina Murphy.
Absolutely.
Thanks. So I just wanted the committee to have one point of clarification around the community benefit dollars. These are going to be distributed to individuals that are responding to a current solicitation that we have open. The board approved guidelines on how we handle these community benefit dollars back in 2024. And so now we run a solicitation for community partnerships, and that's live on our website. And you all can see the documentation, and there's a webinar too on how we use those funds and how we intend to follow through with that process. So just to help bolster the community benefits that we're getting out of this contract and how they're being used.
Fantastic. Thank you again for the reminder. Looking forward to seeing those. Are there any other questions or comments? Otherwise, well, I'm happy to entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion.
I see Director Andre. Is that Director Andre with the motion? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Director Zakatz. We have a motion and a second, so we'll take it to roll call.
Al Cerrito,
Yes.
Larkspur,
Yes.
Pinal,
Yes.
Pleasant Hill,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Vallejo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all so much. That brings us to our next item. We not have just one, but two agreements tonight to consider. And so, excuse me, this morning. And so item number 7 is the renewable power purchase agreement with Buena Vista Energy. I'll take it back to staff for the report.
Oh, great. Thank you. Good morning, Board Chair, members of the Technical Committee, fellow staff, and members of the public. My name is Paul Krebs, Senior Power Procurement Manager on the Power Resources team. Just quick tidbits about me. I have over a decade of experience in the energy industry. Happy to say that I'm coming up on 4 years at MCE. Prior to MCE, I was at PG&E, where I negotiated and did contract management of renewable energy storage projects, as well as database management and regulatory reporting. I have a BA in environmental studies from the University of Colorado at Boulder. Happy to present the Buena Vista Wind project for board approval today, committee approval. Okay, great. So for today, I'll provide an overview of the Buena Vista Wind Power Project and the proposed contract. We'll then conclude with our recommendation to the committee, and we'll leave time at the end for questions and discussion. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, please feel free to interrupt me at any point. Next slide, please. So the Buena Vista project is a 30 megawatt existing wind generation facility in the Altamont Pass area of Contra Costa County. And it can produce enough power for 15,000 homes per year. This project is advantageous to MCE for a number of different reasons. Firstly, it's located within MCE service territory in an area with little remaining land for renewable build-out and little remaining capacity at the substation beyond what is supported for the Buena Vista project. From an energy market perspective, this means that this project is likely to generate strong returns for MCE, as the power doesn't have to travel very far to where the load is and doesn't have to compete for space on the transmission line. These returns would go directly back to MCE from the CAISO, thereby reducing the overall cost of the contract. This project is owned and operated by Leeward, which is a reputable counterparty with over 3 gigawatts of solar, wind, and energy storage projects in operation in the United States. And I would say that working with a reputable counterparty is extremely valuable to MCE and is what has led to what Power Resources staff and outside counsel believe is a fair and balanced contract for MCE. From a development and operational perspective, this project has been significantly de-risked, having been in operation since 2006. It will be refurbished prior to the start of the delivery term in 2028. Scope of that work includes work on the generator, hub bearings, hub assembly, and blade bearings. In terms of avian impact mitigation, this project was designed in accordance with federal, state, and county environmental law, as well as in consultation with local environmental experts. In addition, all on-site staff receive training to identify and report any impacts. Next slide, please. The agreement is a full toll contract, meaning that MCE has rights to all products produced by the project. For a wind project, that includes PCC1 renewable energy, as well as resource adequacy. Now, not all PCC1 energy is of equal value to what MCE. Wind generation in California is scarce and is becoming increasingly hard to come by. The generation profile of wind and this particular project are an excellent complement to MCE's load shape, helping to more closely align our load and supply curves. Resource adequacy is a capacity product that MCE must either procure through long-term contracts such as this, or be subject to volatile market pricing, which last year reached historical highs. This project would provide these benefits to MCE under an 8-year term, after which the project will be decommissioned. Leeward is committed to the decommissioning, remediation, and restoration of the site in accordance with their lease agreement, as well as federal, state, and local environmental law. Lastly, there are no credit or collateral obligations for MCE under this agreement. Next slide, please. So I won't spend too much on this slide, time on the slide, as it was covered by Stephen, but just to highlight some key takeaways again. This project, as I mentioned, helps align our load and supply, but also provides power in the afternoon and evening hours when prices tend to be volatile as renewables ramp down and demand is ramping up. Next slide, please. Some notable terms and conditions that are favorable for MCE include a set of financial incentives to ensure that the project performs as expected throughout the delivery term, but also to ensure that the products are delivered to MCE as of the date contemplated under the agreement. Otherwise, seller is subject to daily delay damages. Leeward would be required to employ union labor on site, pay prevailing wages, and use an ethical supply chain that prohibits the use of equipment produced by forced labor. Leeward would be required to post significant security deposits to ensure that the project milestones are met. MCE also negotiated a $100,000 community benefits contribution, which will be paid to MCE prior to the start of the delivery term. These funds would be appropriated in accordance with the board-approved community benefits guidelines. Also, the price is fixed throughout the contract term, providing price certainty to MCE. One final item to note is that this MCE under this agreement has rights to assign this agreement under its prepay program, which could generate significant cost savings to MCE's ratepayers. Next slide, please. So with that, we would like to recommend that the committee approve the renewable power purchase agreement between MCE and Buena Vista Energy, LLC. We provide this recommendation because of the benefits this project provides to MCE's portfolio, the experience and trustworthiness of the counterparty, and the fact that this project provides highly valuable wind generation at a fixed price over the contract term, thereby reducing MCE's exposure to risk and market uncertainty for both renewable energy and resource adequacy. Next slide, please. So that's it. Thank you. Any questions?
All right, thank you for your report. Do we have any questions? We'll start from board members. Excuse me, actually, Vigan, did you want to add to this presentation?
Director Meadows can chime in again as the rep for ad hoc contracts.
Great. Director Meadows, did you have anything to add for this presentation?
Director Kohler and I agreed to move forward with this contract also.
All right, thank you. So then we'll start with questions from board directors. We'll start with Sam Rafael.
I see no raised hands, Chair.
All right. Do we have any questions from board members here in Concord? Not seeing any. In that case, we'll, Clerk, I'll ask, do we have any public comments on this item?
I do see Dan Sajidin with his hand raised.
Okay, we'll take that public comment.
Hello, great project. We like this one also. So great job to everyone, staff who's put this together. Did want to say that I did notice that you combined the generation profiles of the two resources of these two projects. I mean, since they are pretty different, it would be nice in the future to see the individual generation profiles, just so we can see that contribution to the kind of 24/7 issue separately, because that could, if there were offsetting effects or when those two curves are merged together, it'd be nice to see them separately since they are separate projects. So I just wanted to make that comment. Don't want to encourage the habit of like combining, separate projects into single generation curves when they are individual projects. So it would be great to see that broken out. But again, wanted to thank you for doing this. Meets a lot of different criteria. So thank you for your work.
And thank you for your comments. If there are no further comments or questions from board members or any public comments, I will be happy to entertain a motion for this item.
So moved.
All right,
Quinto.
Director Quinto motions. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Director Pomares is a second. Thank you so much. We'll go to the roll call on this item.
Al Cerrito,
Yes.
Larkspur,
Yes.
Pinal,
Yes.
Pleasant Hill,
Yes.
Richmond,
Yes.
Vallejo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I just want to take another moment to recognize staff for your work over this last couple of months on these renewable energy projects and our PPAs. We've done a really tremendous job at moving these kind of smart financial decisions that are going to hopefully stabilize our rates and costs for our customers, but also, really pushing in this moment for a cleaner and more resilient future. So just wanted to commend you all on your work and say thank you. I know it's not easy during this time. We know there's a lot going on at both the local levels as well as the national, but you all have really been driving such a great vision to our board and our technical committee's vision. So thank you again. Absolutely. That brings us to our next item, which is board and committee matters. Are there any other matters that folks would like to bring up? And I see Director Andre in Concord.
Great. Thank you, Chair Murphy. I just wanted to circle back to the question about how to submit public comments from the public commenter earlier today. I do think it's important, at least at our city councils, like if somebody submits a letter, we attach it to the agenda packet so that everyone can see it. And I don't think that that's happening here at MCE. So I'm hoping that, I don't know if it's for discussion here at this committee, but if we bring, if we might bring it to the board, but I'd like to see that happen because MCE covers such a large, it covers 4 counties, and for someone to come into the office to review the materials, I think is a little unreasonable. And so I think just for public transparency and disclosure, like we should post items to the website. And similarly, if there are I don't know, public exchanges between in between meetings, I think we should also find a way to publish that online so that people can see it, because I think sometimes members of the public will see a public comment and that may or may not motivate other people to also be part of the discussion. So I don't know if we have that discussion here or now, or if we move it to a board meeting, but I'd like to be able to have that discussion among the board and just, make sure that we're being responsive and transparent with the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Andre, for your comments. And I think our council, Catalina Murphy, mentioned before she's going to either follow up with the constituent, or can staff speak to what's the next steps there? Can you remind us?
Yeah, absolutely. I can, Chair. Thank you. And yes, we have every intention of following up with a member of the public, and have had that in the works. Just haven't gotten that out yet, but we will get that. And I would just like to clarify: we meet the requirements and obligations that are in the Brown Act on how public comment is distributed and be available at the offices. And appreciate your feedback on ways that we could go above and beyond.
Right. So I guess my question is more about, yes, the letter of the law doesn't require it, but I just feel like in the public interest and just greater transparency, I think it would be great that we publish things to our website. I mean, that's what we do at our council meetings. And like I said, MCE covers 4 counties. I think it's unreasonable to have people come into the office to, review documents. And oftentimes if we don't publish online, people don't know that the document even exists or the letter even exists. So yes, I understand the letter of the law, but I just think, how do we have that conversation, as a policy? Maybe we could bring it, I don't know which committee, but I would be interested in having that conversation with my colleagues. Thank you.
Yep, appreciate the feedback.
All right. Are there any other board committee matters? Director Pomares, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to follow up with Director Andre's point. So I guess maybe the more basic question would be not only just that topic alone, but how do we request to agendize, any other topic in the future, whether it be in the technical committee or within the larger board? I think it's a warranted discussion. I mean, I'm not open-minded to whatever, but I guess, I don't want your point to just die with that comment. You know what I mean? So how do we agendize or request to agendize any kind of further topics?
This is the perfect time to
Okay.
bring up recommendations for the agenda during staff matters, staff and board matters. The agenda for the board meetings are set at XCOM, and agendas for committee meetings can be set by those committees. So this is a perfect time to bring it up.
Perfect. So, I mean, if you don't mind, I'll just like to request to agendize Director Andre's comment about, or have a conversation about what goes into that packet for public dissemination. Thank you.
Yeah. And one thing I'll also note is that sometimes those requests can be handled in a simple way by providing a report to a committee or to the board and don't require discussion by the full board. But that's something we can help figure out. We have, as you know, we have a large board, 34 members. So there's a lot of, we do get a lot of requests from a lot of folks, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they are on opposite sides of whether we talk about something or not. So all that has to be taken into consideration.
Sure, absolutely. And I hope with that forthcoming discussion, we could find some sort of balance. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for bringing up that matter, and look forward to our conversation and report back about that. So thank you again for bringing those matters up. Are there any other matters that folks would like to bring up from the from board directors? Any in San Rafael?
I see no raised hands, Chair.
Okay. Any in Concord? All right, none here. Well, that does bring us to our last item then. In that case, which I think, if I'm correct, that would be adjournment. We'll adjourn this meeting at 10:55 into our next meeting. So everybody have a wonderful day. And again, thank you to our staff. And of course, thank you to our board members for being on this committee. Hope you have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend.